Saw AD, he was out here warming up for about a big player that on the floor. Here's Butler, no, Wilt Chamberlain and Kevin Durant.
To limit his minutes, but that's what he gives you right there.
Edwards with a free path to the defense. Edwards making attacking Pajemski, hanging Clay, catch and shoot for three. Like we saw in November when he made his first.
But it's the accuracy that's impressive.
His feeling with Steph Curry telling doesn't feel as hard, and it's nice to have things out here going forward, Dave.
A lot of people miss Davis when you're putting a team together, turnover team, a little erratic.
That was a question some had as Washington had.
And yeah, has his money afterwards, so having that
after the game as Irving misfires on the.
That's the part people may not see is how shallow.
Edwards can't get the put.
Not all games count the same. Both know how to play off the ball, on the ball.
7 straight points for the Warriors. And it rolls around. Here points, three-pointer no good for Green. Green no good. Or to Draymond. Green attacking, foul. And Green knocks down. Will face his former team for the first time.
I mean, Anthony Davis, Gafford, and
Evan, right?
Yeah, of course. It never got off the ground. I mean,
Steph off the bounce, cans up for fires underneath. Might have been a travel. Golden State has in the last 5 games. Was a 4 shooting so far. Pulls up. Can't. Irving struggling so far. For part of that trade for Luka Doncic.
So we should just. What is it?
Well, there's no question as Christie misses.
Sure.
And that's because of the
experience, really. The guy has played. Know what you're getting. It's just huge.
It's just possession. Christie's been great. Somebody give him some minutes as a big, so they
center position at least under control.
On a 6th team in 6 years out of UCLA.
Out of Jason Kidd's right. That's the question. That's the thing he does, but he's capable of back as soon as they can.
Butler for 22. Marshall corner. Davis.
Warriors came out in a zone there.
Butler contact.
That's not what Butler does, but Butler's so good again.
And to learn more. He'll pull up 4-3. Let's go. Pajemski to the basket.
Really erase a lot of what we're.
Butler down the middle of the paint and
in a more confident way.
Dinwiddie got position to Butler. Now we still have 2 months left to the
better record.
Here's Brown down the lane. 5 from the floor. Butler's 3. Not there. Brown got it back, and Brass gets the 3 away in front of the Warriors.
And part of that hot start was Steph.
Like I said, we got 7 wins.
Iguodala too, as he was looking up the floor. Empty. Edwards misses. Irving tips it.
Point shot makes it such a different game.
Got the defender off his feet. Alone. Around and his shooting drills.
I just want to say hi, Dave.
Warriors by 16. Thompson draw trade. The Warriors are 4-1. Finds post in the corner in the 3. Thompson drives to down. Shovel the post. 10 post.
See as far as what he's delivered.
Exum corner 3. Got it.
Likes it. He'll play him long minutes. And
shot clock at 3. That game, he started 7 this year for bench last night. They lost a key game to Brook
East, and you got to play the games and
all the way to the basket, but missed the layup. Marshall, paint. Edwards in and after missing 7 in a row because of injury. Some of that out depending on the player. Streak in November, December. Before the previous 2, he was lights out. The games earlier this year. Post working hard.
Has played tremendous here. Tough start. His boat over here.
Here's Curry, and he can't pick. Good look, Irving.
Taking care of the ball. Mavericks
can't answer, but Looney, a big.
Dallas trying to make a push.
6 of his last 13 games. Looney got stripped. Moody cleans it up. Christie. Couple weeks. Washington soared.
Nothing at the half. They just got to stay. See, Rob is Kobe's agent. So don't underestimate the fact that trust help those guys.
And Curry with 12 points. Tried off the bench for Dallas. Marshall on the drive. Puts it in.
Defense, but again.
Green, 7 points. Beating the Knicks.
Do well.
Marshall no guy by Butler shaking.
Long and smart. And once he got by,
rhythm bounce. And laid back to 20. Dinwiddie. Butler drives. Foul.
We get paid.
And he got it here.
The direction is it his words. We picked it.
They're currently 2 games of
his game on the biggest stage. It's moving, saying they're feeling this connection
to the finals. 2 out of
a winner. And rare is the place
on the other end. Now a Warriors check that foul's on Hield inside last weekend. Instead, Pajemski with their 3 games back of avoiding that. Here's Moody from the corner. In the last meeting a week ago, as
biggest message at the half, and
they have won 5 of the trade that has a Moody sneaking down.
Have just not had the typical.
Curry driving on Thompson and puts it home. First time in 4 years. Butler looking for Curry. Pajemski forced Steve Kerr to call an early timeout in the win over Denver. What a pass by nothing run right now by the and missed it.
But it's a lot of toll. Look at that stat right there. Just
20-point lead, 3 streaks. Washington knocked it away from Green.
is also not
Season long. Floater is good. Percent for 3 on the season. In
himself, but saw Clay Thompson
with the foul is third. Thompson. It's significant.
Well, one rehab alone, Dave. Just the rehab.
Irving on the back cut. Puts that one. Drives. Floats it up. No. But 18 points so far. Make
Studio for that. That was both offense and defense. Credit that it took him a long time to say it.
approximate foul on Green.
You can track the assist rate, but good job there by the way.
Again, will it be enough? Can they get stops?
And his body just still competing last year in their run to the finals.
Curry, a guy like Max Christie. Thompson
Reacts that you don't maybe get as much.
Arena on Friday and of Dallas's team this year.
Irving, your best players being your best league.
Oh, wow. Of that team. That's not a knock on Luka. Going for it now. And part of that is
For an adductor injury, this is the 5th straight. The other side. Is this an opportunity? Can he learn from this when it comes?
because you couldn't find one that's more LeBron James there with him. LeBron does at 40 years old.
Washington missed the lead all scores. He's got Washington. Lets it fly. Kansas.
Just fighting to stay connected
On the floor right now as Curry.
It's like a 5 p.m. go to bed. I mean,
Nice pass, 2 guys. Banks in the Curry and still going. Looney. Contact is 38. And they're going to call an offensive foul. But in dudes in this league is Butler on the floor.
reason to believe it isn't, but some of it is off that emotional high to see, wow,
Curry.
And, you know, you look at these.
And the Columbus Blue Jackets football. And can't kiss it home, but the tip.
Butler has been fantastic.
They play at a very frenetic pace. He's in, tries to create some.
Separate themselves. Going to get okay.
2 seconds left. Washington missed. Cassidy Hubbard. I'm Dave Pash. Golden State for the first time since he and post. Here's Pajemski in the left. Irving's threes.
Irving, he's just going to not just to environment without any help from any big guys.
Powell, the other 3 bigs are still out. By far his best game. 35.
The chance they end up here. This game's, you know, much different game with and all these other. It's not to say they couldn't get knocked.
There's Prosper, 3-pointer is good. You get the Lakers in 4th to the season without Kawhi Leonard. On here. Brandon Williams. Pajemski corner 3. Got it. Table about Steph Curry's 3.
Jimmy gets to play with him, and obviously Steve's gotten
14th. Moody's 3 off.
some real ground. Their strength of schedule is very.
From 8th and 3 games, 2 games back in the loss column. We'll see them again. Here's Brandon Williams from
And Dallas, you're going to have teams like Dallas.
Warriors.
Yeah, and that'll be big. And they'll that stretch run. It was Butler they got. And maybe uncomfortable in some game for sure.
3-point. He had a great rookie year.
He was missing bad. And now.
Kevin Knox is on the floor, so Green again. He'll finish with 30 points in
Green Curry, understanding they're all little.
and you have to make sure you get in. Prosper. Ball
You know, and I don't know how people's the #1 seed year before in the first round done. But when he came, he really asked Andre to come off the bench. It allowed Steve to coach the team.
You use the word stability. For a long stint in Philadelphia where he started his
Player, he could help you guard your player. He's a great distributor, great defense. Try to convince him. This is to stop, figure out the money. Pash, one of my coworkers.
skills. And
Well,
at
I
that
mean,
point,
he
yeah.
came back around. A lot of them certainly don't series. When we would do walks to do, we need to guard one of the smartest guys really to ever
To
play.
win number 30, those 3. And that's a foul. And
This is Dallas giving their best shot, but
15th straight game. David to see what they look like because so that he could play.
about Boston doing it, but they and so maybe kids onto something. Now I do honor him out there because you just
Made last year to bring in PJ.
we'll see. You know, it's we'll see where
Santos hits a 3.
bring that and that's
Game if there was a tiebreaker. One since the Jimmy Butler trade. And right now they're in the play-in and they're 3 games back of avoiding that in that spot. Here's Moody from the corner. Points, as we mentioned, Thomas none in the last meeting a week ago. As
Jared Dudley, just about the biggest message at the half, and have to get more shooting around them guys.
They have won 5 of Caleb Martin, another player they got in the trade that has a one. Moody sneaking down.
Something happened, or Klay Thompson, and both of them thus far have just not had the typical
2 of 11 overall. Curry driving on Thompson and puts it home. Consecutive 30-point games for the first time in 4 years. Butler looking for Curry. So far in the game. Pajemski. Yeah, they led 9-4. That forced Steve Kerr to call an early timeout. Had his best game as a Laker last night in the win over Denver. What a pass by 9 rebounds for Pajemski. An 8-0 run right now by the way. Thompson driving and missed it.
3 at the 5. Doesn't love doing that, but it's a lot of toll on
the NBA behind Philadelphia.
Look at that stat right there. Just for those guys, or hopefully both for the Mavs.
20-point lead. Those have been rarities, those winning streaks. Washington knocked it away from
Mavs. That guy we just saw, Anthony Davis, is also not
consecutive 20-point game, which is a season long. Floater is good. Actually shooting under 40% for 3 on the season.
He had his own shot, could have driven or pulled up himself, but saw Klay Thompson bring some good possessions together.
Christie with the foul is 3rd. Thompson age to do what he's doing, it's significant.
Well, one and just the rehab alone, Dave. Just the rehab, his work ethic.
Irving on the back cut, puts that one. Drives, floats it up, no. But 18 points so far. I
mean, the Cavs are. I was in the studio for that. That was the defense. They rank in the top 10 in both offense and defense. Couple things on that. One, does I get credit that it took them a long time to say it?
They maybe were looking to see if there was a proximate foul on Green.
They do have somebody with an iPad, and fascinatingly, you can track this. They're failing. You have a 60% success rate, but good job there by the way.
2 struggled in the first half, but again, will it be enough? Can they get stops?
Team is pretty banged up, and his body's just still competing. He had it, and now we're seeing it. I think we saw it last year in their run to the finals.
Curry, and now he'll be really good for a guy like Max Christie. Thompson
really focus on one guy and watch how he reacts, that you don't maybe get as much.
Christie actually beat him to the arena on Friday and team as the full-blown leader of Dallas's team this year.
Important is it to have players like Irving, your best players, being your best leader?
Mentor Luka on habits. Oh, wow. Was Kyrie of that team. That's not a knock on Luka, 5 years older. So the idea was we're going for it now. And part of that is
on both ends of the floor, but suffered an adductor injury. This is the 5th straight. Kyrie Irving. How about on the other side? Is this an opportunity to help get them to the finals? Can he learn from this when it comes?
Imagine it shook him because a message. You couldn't find one that's more. But again, he has LeBron James there with him. You can't sit there if you're Luka and watch what LeBron does at 40 years old.
Finals MVP. Washington missed it. Curry, 22 points to lead all scores. He's got Washington. Offensive rebound. Payton out to Steph. Lets it fly. Kansas.
Too many of those, especially with the Mavs just fighting to stay connected.
So much less when Butler's not on the floor right now as Curry.
Had an early good night call. I feel like it's like a 5 p.m. go to bed. I mean,
Curry made 2 in a row. Now he drives past 2 guys. Banks in the 30-point afternoon for Steph Curry and still going. Looney. Contact. Steph Curry at 30 points. His season high is 38.
Coming out of the timeout.
And they're going to call an offensive foul, saying something.
Yes.
Some confident dudes in this league as have been for Curry with Butler on the floor.
Is it sustainable? And there's no reason to believe it isn't. But some of it is. The thing about Jimmy Butler is even when you're off that emotional high theme, it'd be fascinating to see. Wow, Curry. But I'm always looking at matchups in the playoffs. And, you look at these.
At Ohio Stadium, it's the Red Wings and the Columbus Blue Jackets. 3,000
boy,
for college football. Van Christie, get him off his feet, and can't kiss it home, but the tip.
In close games, close series. And Butler has been fantastic.
Off on his teammates. Sometimes they play at a very frenetic pace. On Exum. Leans in. Tries to create some 3 months of the season.
The question, though, on a bigger level, who's going to separate themselves? You know, okay.
Exum ahead to Washington with 2 seconds left. Washington misses. With Bob Myers, Cassidy Hubbard, I'm Dave Pash. Golden State for the 3rd straight time. For the first time since Draymond Green, Pajemski, Moody, and Post. Here's Pajemski in the left.
Under for a guard.
Irving's threes.
For the Mavericks, Irving, he's just going to, not just to do it in a very difficult environment without any help from any big guy.
Stafford, Derek Lively, Dwight Powell, the other 3 bigs are still out. Great for the Lakers last night. By far his best game, 35.
Which we're already seeing. Good chance they end up here in a playoff series with Anthony Davis. This game's Warriors going to kill that. Well, you know, much different game with Memphis and the Lakers and the Clippers and all these other the fray. But it's not to say they couldn't get knocked.
For loss last night. Here's Prosper, 3-pointer is good. You get the Lakers in 4th year, as well as they played most of the season without Kawhi Leonard. And a handful of games as a Warrior. Brandon Williams. Now Butler down court. Pajemski corner 3. Got it. Butler chatting at the scorers table about Steph Curry's 3.
I like watching Curry play, but Jimmy gets to play with him, and obviously Steve's gotten.
He'll turn 37 on March 14th. Moody's 3 off.
Again, Warriors, you know, a chance to make up some real ground. Their strength of schedule is very.
2 games separating 6 from 8, and 3 games is a game back of them in the loss column. Phoenix is 2 games back in the loss column. Out. So is Klay Thompson. Don't know that we'll see them again. Here's Brandon Williams from.
You gotta stay healthy. That's it. I mean, and Dallas, you're gonna have teams like Dallas.
Him on this road trip coming up for the Warriors.
Yeah, and that'll be big. And they'll up. And who's gonna be able to make that stretch run? Looking at the post part of it, but it was Butler they got. I think it'll be fascinating Tuesday night and maybe uncomfortable in some. That'll be an overanalyzed game for sure.
3-point best basketball of the season right now. He had a great rookie year.
When we were here a month or so ago, when he was missing bad. And now
boards, 3 3-pointers. Kevin Knox is on the floor, so Green. So don't think we'll see Steph again. He'll finish with 30 points. And
careful with the minutes of Butler, Green, Curry, understanding they're all little
and find their rhythm as a group. And you have to make sure you get in. Prosper. Won't fall.
More important than people think. You know, and I don't know how people's really. And we got to the playoffs as the #1 seed. That team. We'd lost to the Clippers the year before in the first round. People thought to get that deal done. But when he came, he really hurried because that's the year Steve Kerr asked Andre to come off the bench. Embraced it, and that set a tone. It allowed Steve to coach the team. It's just a fascinating story.
You use the word stability. Denver for a year after a long stint in Philadelphia where he started his league.
Andre did. He could guard his player. He could help you guard your player. Not off the ball. Andre could play on the ball. Was a great distributor, great defense mind. And a lot of times you meet with a free agent, you try to convince them. This is said stop. I don't even know I want to come. You know, just stop. Figure out the money. Richard Jefferson, one of the guys. Dave Pash, one of my coworkers. I've talked about this before.
Diminishing skills.
Well, I mean, he came back around. Basketball players, professionals. A lot of them certainly don't the game. So many times, Dave, in a playoff series, when we would do walks, that's a good idea, but here's what we need to do. We need to guard. I think that's best because he knew so much. One of the smartest guys really to ever play.
Here, Golden State on its way to win number 30. Post LA against the Lakers. And that's a foul.
And this is what we saw today, Dave. This is Dallas giving their best shot. But
15th straight game. Powell, his 15th straight game. Dave, those guys will come back, and then we'll get to see what they look like because with ESPN was he wanted a 5 so that he could play.
Cleveland, I guess you can talk about Boston doing it, but they play him with Towns.
That's a good thought, yeah.
And so maybe kid's onto something. Now I do to shooting from a decent percentage, so people have to honor him out there because you just
Irving. But the trades that Harrison made last year to bring in PJ,
a lot of people upset, but we'll see. You know, we'll see where NBA Finals last year.
Santos hits a three.
Watching that and remembering that, and that's
Finishes 2-2. Had Dallas won this game, if there was a tiebreaker, won 3 in a row. They're 5-1 since the Jimmy Butler trade. And